Hello and welcome to my review of the Space Marine Librarian in Terminator Armour from the Leviathan box set for Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop. Now currently this is the only way you can get this Terminator Librarian in the set that will cost you £150. He may be available separately. His sprue certainly suggests so, and if he is released separately, he's probably going to cost about £25 minimum. The problem is with Space Marine Librarians is there's about 12 of them in the current index book, so there's a lot to choose from. You know, you've got everything from Brotherhood Librarians to Chief Librarian Mephiston and Tigurius. You've got normal Librarians, Librarian Aurelius, you've got the Librarian Dreadnought even, Librarian Marcellos, one in Phobos armour, a Librarian Tantus, one with a jump pack, and then a Primaris Librarian. You know, we've had lots of Librarians over the years. I think I have a Librarian for every company, I think. In my chapter, so yeah, there's a lot, but we're going to go through his rules a little bit later on, but for the first part of the video we're going to have a look at the detail and go through how easy he was to build, and there are no spare parts, so there's nothing to look at in that section, but we will go through some size comparisons. Even though I've just said how I've got probably 10 librarians and things in the force, I don't actually have any librarians close at hand. I probably have to go and hunt for a Primaris librarian or something, so I'm just going to compare him to some of the models in the set. But rest assured, he's probably going to be the tallest librarian that you have. He's going to be a little bit taller than a Primaris. So let's have a look at the detail then of this librarian. I think he's quite cool looking. You know, he's got his hand outstretched. He hasn't got a helmet, which is great for librarians. He's got this gauntlet mounted Stormbolter with this awesome looking kind of shaped magazine that reaches around his gauntlet. He's got this like little skull symbol thing. He's got all the piping to his psychic hood that's integrated into the Terminator armour. This could be one of the best librarians in Terminator armours we've ever had. A little bit of a tactical rock there and a tactical skull that's got a hole through it, and then he's got this book here which is a bit kind of plain looking, but there are some purities, but it does have some nice clasps. You've got the Librarian Crux Terminatus, you know, that's notified by the horns coming off of the skull. You've got again another like psychic symbol with the horn skull with this like halo above it, and then you've got these nice kind of ridged markings on the shoulder pauldron, and also some etched writing. The power axe is nice and beefy. It's a nice shape. I like this, these extra embossed markings, which are synonymous to forge two force weapons. And then you've got a few other extra little details and purity seals and whatnot there. And I like the, you know, the detailing on the greaves. So yeah, good looking mini. I like this one. One of the best minis for the Space Marines, I think, and goes extremely well with your Terminator Captain and your Terminators, which we will now have a look at. Let's do a bit of a size comparison with those. So maybe this set will go down in history as the Terminator set because of, you know, the 7 Terminators in it, I guess. But this is the Captain. So yeah, both of them running around the battlefield would be quite cool. They'll complement each other. They've both got the Terminator armor, they're invulnerable saves, they're 2+, they're Stormbolters, they're power weapons, classic Space Marines, brilliant. So that's where he stands next to the Captain. He is a bit smaller. All of the models are a bit smaller than the Captain. Here is one of the new Terminators. It's going to be kind of the same size. Librarian might be a little bit bigger, just a little bit, but works very well with the new Terminators. Fantastic. And then of course next to the Ballistus Dreadnought, which I've just built right here, So this is a Whopper, obviously much bigger than the Librarian. And then next to some other minis, 40k minis that I always compare. So compared to a normal Space Marine, he's a fair bit bigger now. Slime Arbo, probably up to the chest. And then a Primaris, which is a little bit smaller, just a little bit, like a half a head smaller, as he is with the other Terminators. One thing I didn't mention is how easy he was to build. He is an easy to build kit. He took me less than an hour to put together, take all the parts out, and I was doing other things at the time, so you can build him relatively quickly and add him to the force, similar to the Captain. And that's all the size comparisons I wanted to make with the Librarian in Terminator Armour. So this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Librarian in Terminator Armour. You'll find his rules in the brand new Warhammer 40,000 app. The rules are free. If you haven't already downloaded it, I would strongly suggest that you do. The unit composition is 1 Librarian in Terminator Armour. The model is equipped with Smite and a Force weapon, and he will cost you 90 points. His stat line is as follows. It's a movement speed of 5 inches, toughness 5, save of 2+, 5 wounds, leadership 6+, and objective control 1. He does have an invulnerable save, like all Terminators, of a 4+, so that's a 2+ normal, 4+ invuln. The ranged weapons, you can have him with a combi weapon or a Stormbolter. Mine's equipped with the Stormbolter, which is a 24-inch range, 2 attacks, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, AP 0, and a damage of 1. And it also has rapid fire, so you're going to be getting 4 shots at 12-inch range or fewer. The Smite psychic power, you've got Witchfire, which is 24-inch range, attacks D6, ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, AP -1, and damage D3, and it's psychic. So what that means is if a psychic weapon or ability causes any unit to suffer 1 or more wounds, each of those wounds is considered to have been inflicted by a psychic attack. And then Smite Focus Witchfire, it's a 24-inch range, attacks D6, ballistic skill 3+, strength 6, AP -2, and damage D3. This is a bit more focused, as the name implies. It has devastating wounds, which means that a critical wound inflicts a number of mortal wounds on the target equal to the damage characteristic of that weapon, which could be 3. It's hazardous, which means after the unit has resolved all of its attacks, you must take 1 hazardous test for each hazardous weapon that is just used. By rolling D6, for each roll of a 1, the test is failed, and 1 model in that unit equipped with a hazardous weapon is destroyed, unless that model is a character, monster, or vehicle, in which case it suffers 3 mortal wounds instead, of which this Librarian is a character. So he won't die instantly on a roll of a 1, he'll just lose 3 mortal wounds, which is still quite horrific considering he's only got 5. I say only. And also it's psychic as well, which I've just covered. Melee weapons is equipped with a force weapon, so they've done away with like force axes, force swords, all these sort of force staffs, or force staves. They've done away with those. They used to do different things, and some better than others, but now it's just a force weapon, which has 4 attacks, weapon skill 3+, strength 6, AP -1, damage D3. That's alright. I would prefer it as being like a proper power weapon though. Abilities though, you've got Deep Strike and Leader. Deep Strike, of course, you can, in your reinforcement step, one of your movement phases, you can set up a unit anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches horizontally away from models. And then Leader, you can select a bodyguard unit for him, and basically you must use the toughness characteristic of the bodyguard units, even if the leader has a different one. It's quite self-explanatory. Then you also have Oath of Moment, which is a faction ability. You can reroll hit roll and wound rolls. Each time a model from your army with this ability makes an attack that targets enemy units. You've also got Psychic Hood, which is specific to Librarians. When this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have a Thealnoplane 4+ against psychic attacks. And then Veil of Time, again just for Librarian, while this model is leading a unit, weapons equipped by models in that unit have the Sustained Hits 1 ability. So it's a leader model, so it can be attached to the following units: so Relic Terminator Squad, Terminator Assault Squad, and Terminator Squad. War gear options can be equipped with a combi weapon or Stormbolter. And then keywords: infantry character, Psyker, Imperium, Terminator, and Librarian. So it seems to me like they've done away with psychic powers and he's just getting smite. That's what it would seem to me. I guess maybe we'll get specific psychic powers for unique characters, like for instance Tigurius has Storm of the Emperor's Wrath as a specific one. Mephiston has the Quickening, Fury of the Ancients, so it looks like they've done away with those specific sort of psychic powers. Be interesting to see what they're going to do with you know, Orc psychic powers and, you know, Tyranid psychic powers. We're going to get to those when we review those minis. But what do you guys think of the Librarian in Terminator Armour? I think it's quite a cool model. I think it's a nice addition to the force. Of course, it's going to go well with the newer sized, bigger Terminators in the chapter, which of course I'm going to be putting in my first company, I think. Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.